Good evening, I'm Riley Harvey for VCN, and this is the Moon Riders Heroica Tour. We are in the final stage, stage 12, which is 7 bone-crushing, leg-killing ascents of the Paterburg, and we have got it all to play for. We have come down to the last event of the series to see who will be crowned victorious, who will be the winner of this event. Christophe Contant is currently in pole position over Wouter Claes. Wouter Claes is a Moon Rider, fantastically strong rider, but so is Christophe Contant, and they have come down to the last stage tonight to see who will be wearing that gold jersey for the end of this series. It's been close. We have Lorenzo Simons, who's looking like he's going to win the silver classification without any competition really for Lorenzo Simons. Been riding very well. Stefan Audette, another one of the Moon Riders, is in second position, and Ewan Lamont there in third position, with Barbara Herrera in fourth, who I think is the highest placed lady, Barbara. Mountain jersey classification, again, this is coming down to close run finish. Christophe Contant looking like he will win this. I don't think he's got the opportunity to lose the mountain jersey classification. Lorenzo Simons, Wouter Claes in a tight finish for second and third position. I think if Wouter finishes higher in this, he'll overtake Lorenzo Simons. The sprint jersey competition has already finished, with Wouter Claes taking that, Daniel Schott in second place, and Doug Hart taking third. And we are podiuming currently Christophe Contant in the gold jersey, with Wouter Claes in second and Lorenzo Simons in third. In the silver jersey, it is, as I say, Lorenzo Simons, Stefan Audette, Ewan Lamont. And the completed green sprint jersey, Wouter Claes, Daniel Schott, Doug Hart. And still to play for, this being the last battle for this event on the mountain jersey, Christophe Contant, Lorenzo Simons and Wouter Claes. I think Christophe Contant is going to finish this with the mountain jersey. It's Lorenzo Simons and Wouter Claes that have got it to battle for in the mountains competition. I am live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, loads of other different social platforms, but all of the messages that you send get filtered through to the same location. So will respond and keep you updated, move through the riders as you see fit. Direct me, ask for information, give me a shout up on who you think is going to be the most combative, who's going to be the most aggressive on this competition, and we'll keep an eye on the riders for you. Go through quickly while we're on the start here. We see Jeffs, Christophe Contant, Doug Hart, Bouillac, Wouter Claes, Forster, Stoppels, Svert, Ian Hurst, Mike Wareham, John Beams, Francois Eicher is also in the battle and on the chat as well, multitasking. May, Cabramanca, 38 riders so far. There'll be another couple join just before we set off. We are starting at the top of the iconic Paterburg. Just come around that corner. That's the end of the Paterburg segment now that we can just see in the distance. And we are about to set off at a blistering pace on this flat section. John Beams, the pedalers, and Stoppels there setting off. Buffalo bike being ridden by Christophe Contant, who's not switched into the yellow jersey for this race. The leader of the competition has been wearing the gold jersey, the yellow jersey from the Vive la France event that was run by the WKG group, and instead Christophe Contant is wearing the Pedalers group jersey. Is the the club that he's part of, and he's flying their colours tonight. So Mike Jabot there mentioning that the Buffalo bike is killing him. I think there's a little bit of mixed feelings about the Buffalo bike. I have mentioned it on a few occasions. It does draw a massive amount of attention to the WBR, the World Bicycle Relief charity, which the RGT put on the Everesting event every year for WBR, and encourage everybody to do a little bit of fundraising for that charity. It's a bike related charity. It's a competition. It's a charity that helps to change the fortunes of people by the provision of bikes. So they put these very durable, very hardy bikes into different areas to allow for there's things like delivery drivers or delivery persons get these bikes to make deliveries of medications, doctors, helps people to get to work, and helps people to just generally get around, go and get food, water, etc. Makes things more accessible for them. But they've put the bike into the game this year, and yeah, it's raising some questions. It doesn't look very much like a bike that you'd be riding at this speed on. Oh. Yeah, it's done its job though. See, we've got a fairly tight pack coming round now. 2 main climbs on this course. This is the second of them. Name escapes me at this moment in time. It'll come back to me. And we can see the riders flying up here. No issues whatsoever. I always find this a little bit of a difficult climb, this one, because you come round out of a descent on that bottom corner, and you stop almost dead as you turn right. A little bit of a flaw, a little bit of a stall in the graphics tonight. I'm not sure if that's everyone's seeing that. The wheels on the Hyperion bike are static, they're not rotating as they should be doing. Not a major issue, obviously, but that probably needs reporting. We'll just get out the foliage. Doug Hart runs to the front here. One of the courses on RGT that catches me out by the fact that the finish line is more or less in the middle of the profile graph at the bottom. Always expect that the finish line is going to be on the right hand side of that profile graph. See Doug Hart laying down a bit of pain here, stretching it out a little bit. John Beam still there, riding in support of Christophe Contant tonight, no doubt. As Metcalf runs through and onto the front. We come the first ascent of the Paterburg now. This is an awesome climb, a beast of a climb. And go to the side now. Just check out the fences as we go past them with Metcalf now. You should be able to see as we go up this gradient. We're at 10.7% now. See the angle on the fence. Now you can see the fence is stepped, and just see how much the stepping is on that fence as we go up 16% now. Lundqvist, this obviously suiting him better now. Overtakes Metcalf. Griffiths in second position there. Griffiths been doing well in these events. Up the cobbles. 18.5%, and now we just start to see it easing off slightly. Wouter and Christoph locked together there. As the gradient eases, see how this stretches out. And Wouter jumping up there with those first three riders and just opening a gap on Christoph there. Christoph quickly closes it down, beams back with them at the front. 7 laps tonight, 7 painful ascents of the Paterburg. Just make a drop back through the field. Who else is with us this evening? Christoph Contant opens up on the front there. Christoph been touted as more of a steadier rider, more of a consistent power rider than Wouter. Wouter seemingly better on the changeable courses, more of the crit racing style courses, which I think this road really comes under the category of, with the big changes in pace required for the 2 climbs. The Watermolenstraat was the previous climb there. Jay Linden Poco there, Doug Hart, Tobin. Jay Linden from Poker Motion. I think Doug Hart rides for Team 3R, as does Tobin there. Be very wrong with Doug Hart there. Francois Heroica there. Dropping off the front there is Stoppels, who was on the front earlier on. Mike Lister commenting, it's such a brutal course but looks great. To my mind, they've improved this course somewhat recently, made it a little bit brighter. When they brought out, I think it was the Ronde, they used a different lighting feature, a different lighting algorithm, and I am sure they've brought that over to the Paterburg, which has just lifted the colours on this course slightly and just made it a little bit brighter, a little bit more welcoming. It was a little bit of a dark course before, a little bit foreboding. Nothing wrong with foreboding, but it's not always the most enjoyable. Faustino there. Some of these riders just getting stuck in no man's land. If we're looking at the sky there, the sky was always quite dark. We can see brightness in this sky now, whereas before it was very foreboding all the time. Forster, Swank and Horenbeek here. Little grouping together. And Mike Wareham, another one of the Moon Riders, with, I think it's Mai. Just trying to catch up to those two is De Svert. Creeves. Berthold and Costa. The foliage here, catching up. Bittler. Stout. That's Hull. Van Rentegard. Martins and Bill with Matthew. Biak and Almeida. Croker. And Ian Hurst, who's also rocking the Buffalo Bite tonight. Kulchivi. Clark. Rake. And Jeffs. Good to see so many riders out on the course there. Jeffs is riding the Hyperion there, but his wheels appear to be turning, so we're going to fly back up to the front end and just check on this battle that's going on from Christoph and Wouter. Christoph, very easy to spot tonight on that slightly outlandish bike. Griffiths, Wouter-Claes, Beams, Lundqvist, all tightly grouped now. They're coming up on the second ascent of the Paterburg. High speeds dropping into this climb. 53.5 kilometers per hour there. We see the Pedalairs jersey there worn by Christoph Contant. Their team recently being granted the honour of having the jersey in-game. This is a feature requested by a lot of the clubs. And basically the answer by RGT is yes, you can have your jersey in-game as long as you bring us something. And they interested in club participation. That's there is a form somewhere that you can fill out in order to request your jersey gets added in game, but they want you to bring something to the mix, not just a nice jersey. There's Beams now opens up on the front there. Beams 430 watts going into the slightly shallower slopes of the Paterburg. Easing slightly. Remaining riders there just able to hang on. He didn't quite snap the elastic on them. Lundqvist leading at the moment, Metcalf in second. The Christoph Contant there, just at the back. It's a little bit of a dangerous point here because it does ease off quite quickly at the top of this climb. And if you get your timing right and your gearing right, you can open up gap there, quite a considerable gap there, quite quickly. See the Proximus branding on the road. Remember rightly, this road was created in conjunction with the Proximus group. We wonder how many laps they're going to leave it before they feel that the competition's softened up enough. How many laps do you reckon it'll be before this front group breaks up, guys? We've got a group now of 7 riders. Art just dropping to the back. Are they going to take it all the way through till the final lap? Or do you guys know the tactics that Moon Riders and Pedalairs are rolling with? think. Looking at the listing there, there's only Christoph that has a teammate in this group now. A slight descent here. Griffiths hanging on, Metcalf coming back. Hart has just been dropped. Doug Hart just dropped out of that group. In there a moment ago, he's now got a gap opened up of 280 meters. Just like that. That brief moment. And they're gone. Doug, who's been doing so well in this competition, been up there at the front. Very aggressive on the Canary Wharf stage. Changing the pace consistently. And distanced in seconds. As we come now with these riders into the Watermolenstraat now. Turn that right hand turn and it goes up to 13% very briefly. I'm gonna anchor out the back of the turbo trainer. See Metcalf chewing this up now. It's 6%, gradually easing off. My bot we're just passing there. Metcalf opens a slight gap up. As Griffiths now feeling the pressure. And Griffith starts to fade away. It's only an 18-meter gap at the moment, but that's going to open up very quickly. Not even halfway through this race, and Griffiths faded away now. That lead group dropping down to only 5. And Wouter breaks off the front. Wouter disrupts the tempo. Not much happening on race radio. Got the race radio online as well. None of these riders are talking to each other in the chat. All struggling. We'll watch these riders go up the Paterburg again, just watch them over the top, and then we'll drop back and check in with the rest of the riders on the course. Lungfist at the back of this group now as we're coming round and into the base of the Paterburg. Hard left turn that scrubs off some of your speed, and in Metcalf hitting him once again. Beams and Christoph at the rear of the group. Wouter Claes overseeing it and just putting in an effort now, making sure he's at the front. See a couple of the riders now, the back markers being lapped. These riders at the front going at a fantastic pace. Raquet there, just further up on the road. Metcalf presses. To Claes at the rear of this group. Beams and Contant just in front of him. And Wouter pushes now. Is Wouter going to make the jump to those two riders in front? It looks like he's trying to. Christoph, can he respond? It levels out, and Wouter's now opened a gap He's with the pairing of Lungfist and Metcalf. And they're now opening up clear air to Christophe Contant. Christophe not responding. He's waiting for the terrain to change. Would this be Christophe's moment of kissing goodbye to the first step on the podium? Place, Metcalf, Lungfist. Ulchavy there is a back marker. Place is pushing on. Metcalf, Lungfist not quite going with the same pace. They are matching Clace now. Marcin Skudlarak in a Go Moonriders cheer. See Christophe just come around the corner there in the background. But Metcalf and Lungfist here not quite working with Clace. Looking on that corner in the background to see if we can see Christophe coming round. Well, Christophe is 130 metres adrift now of this lead group. .4 kilometres remaining. And Wouter can't afford to rest now. Wouter needs to continue adding the pressure. As Lungfist, Lungfist is coming through there. I thought it was Martin's end that we passed. I thought that was Lungfist dropping. See a massive spread of riders on the field now. We'll drop back through and check in with the other riders. Christophe Contant there. He's in his tempo mode. He's just taking this ride easy now. Not going into the red, whether he's already blown up or he's just decided that he's not going to cover that distance, that gap. Solo. Beams, 5th position. 160 metres behind his teammate. Griffiths freewheeling momentarily there. Griffiths not too far away from Beams there. Doug Hart, 7th position in that lead group for a long time. Francois and Jay Linden Poco and Tobin there grouped together nicely. Looking 350 metres behind Doug Hart. I think it's unlikely they'll cover that distance and catch up with Doug, but he may decide to ease off. Justino 11th. Cabramanca in 12th with Stopples just behind him. They're all going to group up with Faustino there. Forster, 14th position. Orenbach just behind him. And then we see Mai on this phenomenal Paterburg climb, just enjoying that nice 18-19% gradient. Svert. Mike Wareham just trying to close him down. Creeves. Plank. Almeida. Berthold there. Costa. Bittler. Van Rent again. Paul. Stout. Beal. Matthew. Caught by Croker there, perhaps. Lorenzo Simons just giving a shout out to Francois Heroica there. Allez, Francois, take away some points from Doug Hart for my third spot. I think Lorenzo had an issue, a technical with his bike. He'd snapped a gear cable. I noticed he's not racing tonight, so guessing he's not been able to get spares for the bike. Not as sparse as they were some time ago, but still not quite as easy to get spares for bikes as they used to be. See Veal there momentarily just dropping. We're just having some problems with the gear changing as they're coming into the lower slopes. Buyak. Ian Hurst. Probably an appropriately geared bike, the Buffalo bike for these slopes. Martins. See Doug Hart flying past Martins there. Bulchevi. Rake. Clark. Jeffs. My bot cam. We're going to fly back up to the front and see how his front group was doing. They've got Lundqvist still in first position with Metcalf, and they've dropped Wouter on the climb, which is a surprise. So Metcalf and Lundqvist at the front battling. Wouter has been distanced. He's now 128 metres behind. There's only 6 kilometres of this race left to go. If Beams makes it back to Christophe Contant and they work together as a pair, could it be they can overturn Wouter in the latter parts of this race? Lundqvist looking like the stronger of the two riders at the moment. Metcalf been riding well on the Paterburg. Metcalf rolls through on this descending section. Lundqvist perhaps not too aware of position here, perhaps not realising that Berthold is a back marker. Back onto the wheel of Metcalf. Christophe Contant significantly higher pace at the moment, watts per kilogram than Wouter. Going to drop back. Wouter taking it easy on this descent. Further behind. Christophe is still on the Watermolenstraat. I know it says Paterburg at the top, but that's where my avatar is, not where Christophe's is. And Christophe over the top and onto this long descent section. As you see the switch there in the watts per kilogram, Christophe Contant dropping off and Wouter's now increasing. 5.6 kilometres left to go for Christophe Contant. Leans into those corners. Beams, 5th position, 330 metres to his teammate. Griffiths, no man's land, likely to finish in 6th position. Doug Hart is coming to the top of this climb. Francois Eicher just slightly in front of Jay Lindham and Tobin. Tobin slightly further down the grouping as well. Cabramanca, Faustino still together. Stoppel's distanced from that group. Forster. Orenbach. May on the Paterburg. Being passed by Lundqvist and Metcalf there. Svert. Creeves. And Mike Wareham, I think, was with Almeida, but it's just distanced Almeida slightly on the Paterburg there. See Wouter coming round, 3rd position. Berthold, Plank, Foster, Bittler, Lavrentium, Stout, Hall, Croker and Matthew, Ian Hurst, Guyak, Beal, Bulchevi, Raquet, Jeffs. I'm going to fly back up to the front. 3.6 kilometres remaining. Metcalf, Lundqvist. It's looking like the winner will come from this grouping, but which of them will it be? Metcalf has been climbing really well on the Paterburg. I feel like he's been the stronger of the two to me. Paterburg is the final climb on this loop. Is that going to be the point where Metcalf puts in his acceleration? Of these two riders, Metcalf and Lundqvist, who's the money on, who's likely to be finishing this race in the lead? .7 kilometers remaining. Enjoying the scenery, beautifully ploughed fields. Into this descent and hitting the hard right hand bend to the gradient of the Watermolenstraat. 13%. Lundqvist out of the saddle, pushing. Metcalf responding. .460 watts. Lundqvist settling slightly. Metcalf continues applying the power. .7 watts per kilogram. Lundqvist up there over 500 watts. Making sure that Metcalf doesn't escape at the top of this climb. Lundqvist back into the lead. Finish that time section and into a long descent. The next climb is the deciding climb of the Paterburg for these two riders. We'll say, guys, if you've enjoyed this tour, the Moon Riders have got another tour planned. They're doing a 7-day tour. Starts in March and it's a best 5 of 7. It's a 7-day event, but you don't have to race all of the 7 days. Details are on rgtdb.com. And there is a team event for that one, and there's also the jerseys that have been raced in this one. That opens up a lot of competitions within a competition. Well worth having a look at. Metcalf puts in a little bit of power there. Come into this final ascent at the Paterburg for these two riders. Metcalf, Lundqvist. Metcalf leading, Lundqvist now opening up. Only 370 meters to the finish line, but we do have this 20% gradient in here. At what point do you attack? Lundqvist has the fastest time up the Watermolenstraat. Lundqvist goes. 4-meter gap. 8.1 watts per kilogram. Metcalf not responding. That gap just increasing now. 9 watts per kilogram there for Lungfist. Metcalf distanced. The road's going to flatten out. This is Lungfist's race. He's zipping up his jersey. He's giving his thanks out. Past the back markers. And he takes the win. Lungfist wins. Metcalf, a worthy second place. Raced hard. And we drop back to Waterklace. Final ascent of the Paterburg. Christophe Contant 310 meters away. I think this will take Wouter into the gold jersey, but we will have to double check that. Points difference is enough for him. It's going to be close. Wouter comes over to take third position. We're back now. Christophe Contant. Christophe. And there's 18% slope now. Very relaxed. Smooth riding. Creeves there, just passing Creeves. Creeves come to a stop. Metcalf on the race radio saying thanks guys, fantastic race. Christophe Contant went up to the finish line. And he comes over in fourth position. Beams being chased by Griffiths, but I don't think Griffiths is going to make it to his wheel. Beams comes over in fifth. Griffiths worthy sixth there. Good battle at the end. Hart. Seventh position coming up to the top. Good distance over Francois Heroica, but Francois has closed down that gap considerably. It's down to 90 meters now. Jalen and Poco just muscling it through that climb now. He's making an attack on Francois Heroica. Hart's coming over in seventh position. We're going to drop back just to see Lyndon Poco there. Lyndon's put the power down and has managed to distance Francois Heroica in the middle of that climb. Doug Hart coming over the line in seventh position. Sorry we didn't see you quite finish there, Doug. Lyndon was just down some hurt on Francois there. Francois in ninth position, and Wouter just commenting on the chat that it's a tie for first place. I don't know how it's been managed after 12 stages. Christophe and Wouter. Oh, hang on. Bustino, 11th position. Wouter, I don't think you're right. I think the algorithm is currently putting you in second place. If you can confirm that, Wouter, I've got you down at second place on the results table at the moment, with Christoph Contant in first with 1,500 total points, and yourself, Wouter Claes, in second with 1,485 total points. As Faustino comes over the line in 11th. Cabramanca, 12th position. Stopples, 13th position with 875 meters to go. Wouter's just informing me that I'm looking at the wrong classification. I'm looking at the overall classification and not the time slot classification, where it is indeed a draw between Wouter Claes and Christoph Contant, both riders on 1,500 total points. The overall time slot didn't take into account the elimination race. A very valiant attempt by Francois there to reel in Doug Hart. They were close in the end, his little group. So he Stopples there on his final ascent of the Paterburg. Pleasure to stream it for you, Wouter, for the Moon Riders team. Much more enjoyable than riding it for me. Enjoy the streaming. As we go past Ian Hurst there, giving a wave. We are streaming, VCN will be streaming the next Moon Riders tour, their 7-day tour. If Wouter can confirm the dates for me. In time slot classifications, for the silver jersey, Lorenzo Simons is in first in the silver jersey time slot classification, and also managing to take third in a time slot classification as well. So good riding from Lorenzo there. Not having a choice about which races he ducked out of. The real life mechanical for Lorenzo, meaning that he wasn't able to ride the last two races of this series. Christoph giving his congratulations to Wouter there. Nice thing about RGT is there's a lot of positivity, a lot of camaraderie between the riders. So we've got the next Moon Riders tour, the Return of the Heroes. Right, Stopples coming over in 13th there. Forster's in 14th. So we've got the next Moon Riders tour, the Return of the Heroes, which is a 5 of 7 for the individual race. So the individual GC, you can choose to drop 2 races, you can choose not to take part in 2 of the races, or you can drop your 2 worst results out of the 7 if you do take part in all 7 of the races. It's running from the 15th of March to the 25th of March. It's not all days within that, that would be more than 7 obviously, but there are a couple of days break in that as well, so you can really plan your racing and get in as many racing days as you can through that period. That's the 15th to the 25th of March as Forster comes over the line in 14th, and Horenbeek here in 15th position, coming up with the last ascent of the Paterburg. So as I say, VCN will be streaming that event, all the stages. So if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the notifications, you'll get a shout of when we're live. And if you're not taking part in those events, you can watch all of them, or as a lot of the riders do, you can just catch up on your rivals on the stages that you're deciding not to race. As Beat comes over in 15th position, Svert 16th. It's nice to see that Creeves is back underway there. Creeves had stopped momentarily before. Svert there, just finding the gears as they come over the top of the Paterburg. But in a time of just under 52 minutes there. May 17th position, keeping the power on as they come over the top of the Paterburg there. In the gear change a little bit better than Svert did. Position for May. Almeida not too far back in 18th. There's Almeida there crossing the line in 18th. Berthold coming over in 19th. Greaves, who had a momentary pause on the Paterburg previously, underway again. They're coming through in 20th position. Mike Wareham, another of the Moon Riders. She's for the line, 21st position. Swank now. 17.5% section. Really, this camera angle does give you just fantastic idea of how steep this road is. Like a slide. Not a road I'd be keen on riding if it was wet. I know I ride Swiss Hill occasionally, which is not too far away from where I live, and that's an interesting road. It's overshadowed a lot of the time, so very often it's greasy when you get to it, and then on the occasional days when it's sunny and warm, then all the grease dries up and you end up with powdery sandy soil on the top of the cobbles, which is just like ball bearings. Cobbles can be interesting to ride. As Swank comes over, 22nd position. Van Rentegam, 23rd. Riding one of the 8-bar fixie bikes. 8 bars, another course that you can find on the RGT real roads. Home to the largest fixed gear race in Europe, possibly the world. Takes part on the Tempelhof Airport. It's now called the Tempelhof Circuit. When it originally came to RGT, it was referred to as 8-bar. Wouterklees just giving a shout out to Robert Lyons and Stefan Audet. for finishing on 5th and 6th on the combined classification. There is a note worth making that the Moonriders Tour take part across 3 different time zones. They're very inclusive. They try and make sure that all the different areas of the world get a chance to take part in their events. They have the Pacifica time zones, European time zones, and the Americas time zones as well. And they do a combined classification so everyone can take part in the overall race for the GC. On Rentagon. 23rd here. Bittler not too far behind. Made a good inroads on the Paterburg there. They reduced the lead to 40 meters, but you'll see now as the gradient diminishes at the top. Van Rentagon makes easy work of this last section. Take 23rd place. And Vittler there. Female avatar, not entirely sure whether it's a lady rider in 24th position. Stout. Out of the watts there. Out of the saddle work to clear the top of the Paterburg. I was mentioning before that Creeves momentarily came to a standstill. It's quite easy to drop your chain on a climb like the Paterburg. Many of us using traditional turbo trainers which are chain driven, not all switching over to machines like the SB20 from Stages, the dedicated bike. Stout comes over in 25th, or riding the Kicker bike. Many of us riding a standard bike on either a direct drive or a wheel-on turbo trainer, so when you're dropping from the big ring to the little ring on the front, it can be quite easy to drop your chain under that strain. You just have to jump off the bike and find a rag or something to drag that chain back on and get back in the race. Matthew just holding off Hall here, but Hall's putting in a fantastic last minute sprint. Matthew is easing. Hall trying desperately to get to that wheel and overtake. Going to be close here as Hall comes up to the back wheel of Matthew. Matthew just applying more power now. Seeing the danger from Hall. Hall comes up the side. Draws level with Matthew. Matthew kicks. This could be important. The gear changes at the top of the climb here. Matthew continue presses. Hall's on the inside line now. Matthew just drops power momentarily there. Hall's still holding this inside line as we come around the corner. Hall opens up 4.3 watts per kilogram there. Opens the gap on Matthew. Matthew is pushing hard there. 5.8 watts per kilogram. But it looks like Hall has just timed that right. Got the gear changes correctly. Comes over the line just from Matthew there. Matthew, a last minute sprint there. Over 8.4 watts per kilogram. We go back to Ian Hurst. Ian will be racing, no doubt, in the PRT handicap race, which takes part on Thursday. It's another race that we cover regularly on the VCN channel. A fantastic race where it's a watt per kilogram normalised race, and tries to keep the competition a bit closer. Ian comes over the end of the segment there, leisurely cadence, taking it easy, having a chill out. Pausing for the camera. Hoping that Ian's not having some issues here. Get to enjoy this Buffalo bike in all its glory. See the branding on the bike there as well. Ian comes over in 28th position. And Croker 29th. Unfortunately, I'm not entirely sure what language that's in. Mostly English, smatterings of other languages, but no great depth in them, I'm afraid. As Heroica comes over the line in 29th. Veal, 30th position, wearing the Rose Beast mode top there. And just mention briefly the other content that we're bringing. So we've got the PRT handicap race on Thursday. We are also working with the React Fitness, and we're bringing fitness classes that are free to participate in on the Monday and Wednesday evenings. Monday is a coached group ride, but more of an easier paced ride, where Richard from React Fitness will go through a lot of the questions that people have about how they should be training, what they should be doing, what they can do to improve their fitness, what different training they can do. And these training sessions that Richard goes through on the VCN channel for free, in which you can partake in RGT for free, are available through the React Fitness webpage. They're paid for packages. They are provided for free, but they are good packages, and I don't think that because they're free that they're any less valuable. It's just something that Richard's doing to support the RGT platform and to raise awareness for his platform as well, for his React Fitness group. We'll be bringing you that on Wednesday night as well on the VCN Facebook and YouTube channels. As Veal comes over, 30th position. Up, up, up. Over the line. Very respectable time of 1 hour and 3 minutes. Very challenging course tonight. Come back to Rake. Rake coming up to the... I presume this is Votamorn and Strat. Sure, Francois will correct me on my pronunciation. I hope he will. You can see Rake here, 2 kilometers remaining. The Heroica series taking part on the real roads of RGT. There are 12 real roads at the moment in RGT. That generally increases as time goes by. They're always working on new roads. When they can find roads that are generally thought of as being important enough, shall we say. Cap Formentor, Stelvio, Mont Ventoux, the Ronde, Durango, Iron Horse route, all courses that are available on RGT, and they're one of the platforms, if not the platform, that gives the most variety and most choice for free. You can take part in this race, in any of the races in RGT, without paying a penny, and you can take part in the group rides as well without paying a penny. And all the time you can take part in rides, free rides on usually a minimum of 2 courses. Quite often it's more than that are available on the RGT app. So, supporting riders, one of the founding goals of RGT is to increase participation in the virtual world and to support as many riders as they can, which they're doing really well, and it's shown tremendous growth in the platform over the last few months, years. Showing great growth over the last few years, but it's been accelerated in the last few months as well. If you are just watching this and you've never seen RGT before, we have a number of races, rides, group rides. We have a video that we did about when the One app was released, which is the version of the app that everybody's running on now, and it's well worth watching if you're thinking about trying out RGT for the first time, wondering what it's all about and how to use it. We do on VCN, try and cover some of the other platforms as well, but RGT is the one that we ride on, the one that we enjoy using, so that's our main focus. Okay, now 1.1 kilometers left to the finish line. One final enjoyable ascent to Paterburg. We're in the Go Beyond kit, the RGT white on black kit, Canyon bike. Then that's a setup that the Illuminati would approve of. White and black colours, matching very well. We enter this Paterburg climb for the final time. Okay, his avatar out of the saddle, pushing hard. These early sections of the Paterburg. Just a quick mention, it does mention the Patermolenstraat across the top there. That is my avatar that is floating around on the event at the moment. Just ignore that, not where Rake is. Rake is on the final ascent to the Paterburg. But one of the other major features of RGT, apart from its inclusivity and its low price, is the ability to create magic roads. And magic roads is a term that RGT have coined to refer to roads that are created from the GPXs provided by users, and to that end you can create roads from anywhere around the world and ride them. One of the groups that we work with is the PRT group. So one of the groups that we work with, the PRT Precision Race Team, their coach Will Usher has created triathlon routes and used those routes to train athletes to finish very closely to the times that they trained for, but basically they knew what was coming and they could accurately, and sure the term accurately, but they could be prepared for the course that was ahead of them. We did a chat with Will Usher, and that's available in the VCN YouTube channel. You head over there and have a look at what Will had to say about the platform and how he's used it to improve his athletes' training. It's something that's different to a lot of the other platforms, and again, an innovative feature. See Rake now, only 240 meters left to go of this Paterburg climb. 593 meters of elevation in only 25 kilometers. Quite punishing on the legs. Okay, briefly using the look behind feature there. I don't know if you saw where the avatar's head turned to the rear. You have the virtual rear view mirror on RGT. You can use the look behind feature and you can check out who is on your wheel. Your avatar does reflect this, so it is a bit of a sign for the riders chasing that you're worrying about them if you use it too frequently. See Rake's come through the more difficult sections, the elevation starting to ease now. As I say that, it lifts briefly. 12% now. Onto the tarmac road. And then release. Find the correct gear to make your way to the finish line. $90 meters left to go. Rake comes over the line. Let's take this moment to say I've been Riley Harvey for VCN. This has been the final stage of the Moon Riders Heroica Tour. We've been enjoying following this event and it's been great to have you along watching it too. Please take your time to have a look around the YouTube channel, see the other events that we've covered and the other information that's there, and take the time to like and subscribe.